Author opinion of Dennis Keane, the history, geography and architecture, culture and life manners of Kazakhs in the program Discovering Kazakhstan.
Salam, привет, and hello. I'm Dennis Keane, and today on Discovering Kazakhstan, we will be discovering the wide world of Kazakh cuisine. Kazakhstan these days is a diverse, multi-ethnic nation, but it's Kazakh food and drink that brings us all together. For hundreds of years, even before any Russians or Americans like me came to the territory of Kazakhstan, Kazakhs lived out here on the steppe with their cattle. And whether it was sheep or cows or camels like these, it were these animals that provided the meat and dairy that formed the backbone to Kazakh cuisine. One could say that a true delicacy of the Kazakh people then is camel's milk. Not something that I ever tried before I came to Kazakhstan, but it is something that is drank, especially here in the hot summer months, as the camels first give their fresh milk. It's then fermented to make a special drink called shubat. And today, we're gonna see how this shubat is made and produced on a massive scale. Kazakhstan has both one and two hump camels, what they call dromedary and Bactrian. And they're a total joy to be amongst, but you would never actually think about milking these guys. But indeed, excuse me, these ladies can indeed be milked, and they produce the tastiest of milk. This milk is then fermented to make a special Kazakh drink that we're going to be trying today called shubat. Will you give us some shubat, madam? Please? We're at a camel farm about an hour outside of the largest city in Kazakhstan, Almaty. And here they have thousands of camels that are allowed to roam through the wide Kazakh steppe. They say that there are more than 100 types of grass here, and the camels really couldn't be happier. But at the end of the day, those who want an extra treat are given some feed here as a kind of dessert. Eat up, kids. A common Kazakh name for girls is botokuz, which means camel eye, especially used for big-eyed babies. And when you see these animals, you can see why. Because their eyes are just humongous, and just looking into the face is quite intimidating. They also have the most elegant long eyelashes, apparently to keep them safe during sandstorms as they're passing through the Central Asian deserts. Just look at these baby camels. At only 1 month old, they're more legs than anything, but they need to have these babies around to get the moms to produce the milk. Moms have this maternal instinct that as soon as the babies are around, they'll start to release that sweet, sweet milk that they're going to use to make this fermented drink called shubat. So let's go see how this is done. The baby camels have been released, and I dare you not to say, "Ah," because just look at these guys. At just 1 month old, they are nothing but legs, but we need them around if you want to get the mama camel to produce any milk. She has this maternal instinct that as soon as they show up, out comes the camel milk. The camel milkers are here squeezing away, getting this frothy milk into their buckets, which eventually is going to be turned into this fermented shubat. They're so small and cute. And it's true that their eyes are really so big that they're just adorable, but they're shy. They're not used to being around a guy like me. Hey! And here are the lazy ones down on the floor, taking a nap. But they're thirsty too, so they're waiting to go out and see their moms so that mom can produce some milk. If you can't wait for the fermented product, shubat, which is said to be a bit healthier, you can have the original Nomad's Delight, fresh camel's milk, which they call salmal. And not surprisingly, it's warm, right out of the mama camel, and tastes good actually. Tastes healthy. taste? It's the taste of the Kazakh steppe right here in a bowl. Though they say it's the diversity of wild grasses that makes that fresh camel's milk that we tried so delicious, I kind of think that it's just happy camels that make delicious milk. And with a view like this from their pasture, with granite outcroppings and the Kurta River below, we can see why these creatures would be so content. We're on the trail of the camel's milk as it moves from the pasture out in the steppe to the Shubat producing factory here in the town of Akhshi. In Kazakh, it means white reeds, named after the idyllic riparian setting of this rural village. Hello.
My name is Natalia.
Natalia, Denis. Dennis, nice to meet you.
Let me help you.
Thank you. Woohoo. Now I'm dressed up like a real Shubat doctor. We're on our way to see how it's made.
We are in our laboratory. Here we make chemical analysis on acidity, density, fat content of milk and many other things.
You can see that this is a real science here. They've got beakers and laboratories. They have a whole chart showing what level of acidity the Shubat should reach. It's really pretty impressive.
The next room. Everything starts here actually. First we receive milk in a tank. Then in these tanks it is pasteurized to 80 degrees. Then we send it to another room. Homogenization of milk is carried out in that room, Camelon. Our milk is stored in these vats. We put a special ferment into them. After that the milk is wetted and sent to prepackaging.
So it is that substance that actually is the most important step in making Shubat. Not everybody gets to try that fresh salmon milk that I had out in the pasture. Usually what you buy in the stores has been fermented. That's what makes it Shubat. So here she's saying they add that special fermentation agent, a kind of yeast, and it gives it that special effervescent flavor.
And the final stage is the packing of our Shubat. We pour it into bottles, pass through the packing machine, and in this form it is stored in the refrigerator.
Right. So traditionally, Shubat would have been drank in a kind of wooden or ceramic bowl called a piala. But this is the 21st century. So now we get it in these plastic bottles, and they're sold at the supermarket, and you can take this and drink it just about anywhere when you're on the go. Thank you. Not everybody gets the opportunity to try Shubat factory fresh. Let's see how it is. It's totally changed actually from what I tried out when it came out of the camel. It definitely has this kind of carbonated, bubbly thing going on. It's sour, which would be kind of weird for most Western taste buds, but it tastes fresh and it tastes healthy, and it tastes like it would be perfect on a hot summer day. If there is one main ingredient in most Kazakh dishes, it is meat. Kazakhs are famous for being carnivores. Most visitors who come to Kazakhstan try one famous dish called beshparmak. It's a kind of dish with noodles and meat that is eaten with the hands, which is why it is called 5 fingers in Kazakh, beshparmak. But beshparmak is not the only Kazakh dish that is made from meat. In fact, there are a variety of ancient meat dishes that have been preserved by some Kazakh chefs, such as our chef today, Rosa. Hi, Rosa. Rosa, сегодня у нас. Wow, today we have so much meat here.
Это у нас национальная кухня.
We give this one, called Han Kazi, to the most honorable guests. It is made out of 8 kazis. Now here we have asip.
Теперь здесь у нас есть асып.
Asip is something that you don't often see in Kazakhstan, but I've actually come across it in one Kazakh city called Kızılorda. In the southern part of the country, they're famous for making these dishes with liver and rice.
And this one is also kozikarin. It's meat of a young ewe.
Ягненка мясо.
The chefs here were telling me that there's a very ancient method of cooking this dish where you use what's called a kazan, which can translate as an earth oven. So you dig a big hole in the ground and you put the stomach right in the earth along with some kind of coals or fire to cook it in the ground. Go off with your cattle for a few hours, come back, and you have a whole cooked meal. Working in the kitchen with us today is Gulnara. Gulnara, здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Что у вас тут есть?
This is sirne. Sirne is the Kazakh national dish served to honorable guests. It is fried out of young lamb meat.
Баранина готовится, жарится.
So at first we put down all of this potatoes, and now right on top of that, big pile of lamb. It smells amazing. Lifting that right out of the oil that it's been fried in, and all the juices from that meat are gonna run into the potatoes, and it's gonna be amazing. So now, one last ingredient that we have for the sirne are these little rolled up pieces of dough. Look how cute that is. So they've taken just simple little, almost lasagna-like noodles and pinched them up into these little roulettes of dough. Put that on top. Put some green onion there on top for some color.
Ooh, yes, sirne.
Here is the final dish, sirne. Look at it in all of its beauty and its weight. You wouldn't believe how heavy with this big wooden towel and all this meat and noodles and vegetables there. I can't wait to give it a try. Something that is familiar to almost everybody who comes to Kazakhstan are these. They're just dumplings called manti. Now, they're a little bit different than your Chinese dumplings in that there is not so much spices and juice inside, but instead what you can find is pumpkin. Pumpkin is inside there with some beef and onions, and it makes an unforgettable flavor combination. I couldn't have a better dinner partner to sample all this amazing food that we saw back there than the director of the restaurant herself, Rosa. And Rosa is not just the director, but she's actually an expert in Kazakh traditional food. And so she, I think, will be able to tell us a lot about the food that we have on our dasarkhan setting here today. I can't wait to finally actually get a chance to sample that food that we saw back there because I smelled this meat. It smelled amazing. Now it's finally before me. It's been hard not to stare at it because it looks like it's gonna be fantastically delicious. And it's such a nice assortment of different flavors here, not just the meat, but also we've got the corn, some vegetables in there for good measure. I think it's gonna be healthy and full of calories, as she said.
Аз дәмді болсын.
Рак, нет, бірге болсын. Дәмді,
Дәмді?
which means tasty in Kazakh.
Обычно у нас гость это самая большая.
Usually the biggest prize for us from a guest. We also don't start eating first. We wait until our guest starts eating.
Теперь после вас только я. Дәмді.
It is a very interesting combination of flavors here. Of course, Kazakhs don't use a lot of spices, so you can taste that solitary pepper quite well. And then there's this oily, fatty flavor that really comes through. That's probably the kujuk, so that's that fat that's coming from the tail of the Central Asian sheep. And when put together with all those other organs, it's not offensive at all. It's actually really tasty, and I encourage my fellow Americans to give asip a shot. Hey, Malika.
Hi, Dennis.
Nice to see you.
Me too.
Malika is an expert in the Kazakh dasarkhan. Dasarkhan is often translated as tablecloth or table setting, and it's all the foods that you can find at a Kazakh feast. And not just meat, despite some preconceptions about Kazakh food, but we can find food here that's made from dairy products, from flour. So what are some of the different kinds of Kazakh dishes that we can see here, Malika?
We have many desserts in Kazakh dasarkhan. It's like jam, kurt, rimshik, chak-chak, shilpek, talkhan, tar.
And this is all food that we can eat with tea, basically,
Yes.
after our meal. We have a big meal, fill up on a bunch of meat, And then this is the very, very kind of subtle, sweet flavors that we can have after the meal.
And usually tea served with milk.
Yes, definitely. Kazakh tea is always going to be with milk, and it's going to be with this variety of sweets. Now, I know a lot of these words are probably new for people, and even their appearance is quite foreign, I think, for most visitors to Kazakhstan who first experience this Kazakh food. So I think we're going to have to walk people through just what this means. Now, I know that you are actually a kind of expert in one of these dishes. It's called gent.
Yes.
So why don't we start with that?
We start with tara.
Tara. So tara, I guess, is a kind of grain
Yeah.
that in English we would call millet. Millet is not a grain that we use that much in the West, but in Kazakh culture, you use millet for a lot of things.
Yes.
Even this kind of full grain, you can use, you can just eat on its own, right? You can eat this with a spoon if you want. And it's actually a really nice, sweet, kind of flavorful grain.
Next, it's crushed tara, and we get this talkhan.
This is what we call talkhan.
Yeah.
So talkhan is already, we can see it's kind of crushed powder. To me, it almost looks like American breakfast cereal. You just have this kind of grainy cereal, crush it up like this.
Yeah.
This you can also eat with a spoon with some kind of tea. But this is the main ingredient now in this gent.
Okay, this one, it's mixed with sugar, butter. And finally, we take this product, gent.
Yeah, so we can see that now this tara talkhan grain has kind of clumped together. Once you add that butter, it helps it stick together a little bit. You add sugar to make it sweet, and then this is an amazing dessert to have with tea. I've seen before that gent can be made into forms. Sometimes they make little hearts, make little cubes, but here what's special is that you guys have taken these.
Yeah.
And look at this, how cool is that? You've dipped them in
Milk chocolate and white chocolate.
Wow. Now can I try one of this?
Okay, of course.
Okay, one for you too. So I'm gonna try one of these white chocolate ones.
Cheese.
It's yours. Now, it's really tasty, but I think it's something you definitely need to eat with tea.
This is rimshik balls,
Yeah.
white and some brown.
Okay.
And then we have rimshik like
Red irmshik.
red rimshik and white rimshik. Yeah.
Okay. And then this is what we call kurt.
Yeah.
So let's help our viewers understand what exactly this is. I remember the first time that I visited a Kazakh bazaar, I saw all this stuff, and I really had no idea what it was because we don't have anything like this kind of Kazakh cheese where I come from. So, for example, what we call kurt is from an ingredient that you call suzbe.
Suzbe, yeah.
And suzbe is a kind of like yogurty cottage cheese food that's also commonly eaten by Kazakhs. So you take the suzbe, you add salt,
Salt.
right? And then you
Mix.
make it into a little shape like this,
Yeah.
and then you dry it.
Yeah.
Yeah? And you can dry it in the sun, you can dry it in an oven too.
Yeah.
And then you have this kind of dried, salty cheese curd ball. Quite an acquired taste, I think.
Taste, yeah.
Though French people, Italians, those who really appreciate sharp, sour cheeses, love this kind of kurt balls. Now, you were saying about this irmshik, and we have a few different kinds of irmshik. Red irmshik, white irmshik, red irmshik balls, white irmshik balls. So, what is irmshik?
Rimshik, it's kind of sweet cheese.
It's a kind of cheese curd, as we would say. So, if you see how they make it, it's actually really interesting because it's naturally sweet. You don't add any kind of sugar.
Sugar,
in
no.
there. Instead, what they do is they take a big pot of milk and then they separate the milk into curds and whey. So the curds are this kind of cheesy, spongy product that float to the top, and they boil it and boil it and boil it, and you get this kind of curd. But then it has to be dried a little bit. So the white irmshik is a little bit drier. This is a little bit more moist and sweet. I think we should try this too. But it's funny because, you know, if you look at this, it really doesn't look like any kind of normal cheese that I've ever had.
Yeah.
You won't want to put this on a cheeseburger, for example. You know? It's different. It's sweet. But this is a perfectly 100% natural Kazakh
product.
cheese dessert.
Yeah.
And just as Americans love fried food, actually Kazakhs love fried dough as
Yeah.
well. So here we have a couple fried dough products.
Yes, is this Jibek, and this one is Borsak.
Barusak. And every American visitor that I ever have to Kazakhstan loves barusak because they're basically like donuts.
Yeah,
Little Kazakh donuts. Not as sweet though, right?
not as sweet, but seems like donut.
Yeah, that's fine. It's very similar to donuts
Yeah.
because you have fried dough, not so much sugar in there. And then over here we have this kind of flat fried dough that you call shelpek.
Jibek.
Now, shelpek is an interesting food because you don't actually see it every day. You're more likely to see shelpeks on Thursdays. Because there's this interesting Kazakh tradition where you will make 7 shelpek, in honor of your ancestors. And actually many people say that if you see your ancestor in your dream, right, then the next morning you'll make shelpek, but you can't eat them all yourself.
Yes.
You have to bring them
Guests and all your friends.
into your neighbors.
Neighbors,
right?
yes.
People will knock on your door and say, please take a shelpek. So it's a great kind of classic example of that Kazakh hospitality.
And then we have nice tradition called sarhut. In our dasturkhan, we put in package just some sweets, fruits for you.
Yeah.
And can you put me?
Okay. I saw this actually on the table. So this is
Gent.
this is your gent that you
Yeah.
covered in white chocolate.
Yes.
Now this is actually really cool because you can't really find that anywhere else in Kazakhstan. So this is so cute. You have a little bag and it actually says sarakut, which is kind of like a to-go bag.
Yeah.
So you take some food from the nice meal and then you can bring this home, eat it for breakfast, give it to your friends, to your
Yes.
family. Well, thank you so much for that, sarakut, Malik. I've really enjoyed sharing this dasturkhan with you.
Nice
for
to meet
having
you,
us.
Dennis.
Nice to meet
Okay.
you too. Kazakh culture is traditional and its cuisine inherently conservative. It hasn't changed much over the years. But in search of some kind of invention or innovation, we have come to the southern city of Shymkent to an experimental new kitchen. Hi, Ruslan. Hi. Now, to be safe, Ruslan says I should put on this hygienic cape, and then we're going to learn about some of the fun inventions that they've cooked up here. Ice cream, for example, made with fermented horse milk and fermented camel's milk. And they've taken a traditional Kazakh dish called beshparmak that everybody knows, made with noodles and meat. But in this case, the noodles are orange. Follow me as we find out why and how to cook these special new Kazakh dishes. So I've entered a magical, magical kingdom. This is the beshparmak workshop. You can see that Ruslan here has already prepared the secret ingredient, which are orange noodles. Now, if you look at normal beshparmak, the noodles aren't going to be orange. They're normally noodle colored. But here, they've added something special, pumpkin. Pumpkin flesh and pumpkin juice has gone into these noodles to give them that special hue. So we're gonna take these, put them inside the broth. The broth is a very important part of beshparmak. In Kazakh, they call it sorpa. Sorpa is something that you get after the meal as a kind of nice little soup to drink after dinner, but it's also what the beshparmak noodles are gonna stew in. Okay? So I'll do what I can to help Ruslan cook his beshparmak. We're going to put in these noodles. But as far as I've seen before, this specific form. Flop them in there like that. And they really look unusual in there, these orange noodles floating around in the soup. You might think that they're from carrots or from some kind of a tropical fruit, but pumpkins are actually a common ingredient in Central Asian cooking. You can often find pumpkin dumplings, pumpkin soup, all sorts of different dishes made from this Central Asian gourd. I should mix it around a little bit to make sure that these noodles don't stick together. And then we just have to wait a little bit. This is a special ingredient that they call tuzduk. In there you have horse fat, onions, and green peppers. They're gonna take that, he's ladling it in here into these beshparmak containers just a little bit to add a little bit of flavor before these orange noodles get laid down. Here, Ayman has all the ingredients you need to make camel milk ice cream. You've got shubat, which is that fermented camel's milk, egg, sugar, and cream. She puts it into the ice cream making machine, and soon enough, we're gonna have something special. After 15 minutes, Ayman can finally turn off the ice cream machine, and we'll see what comes out. Oh, look at that, it's beautiful. That is shubat ice cream, fermented camel's milk. I would never have imagined that could become a confectionery, but indeed, look at it. She layers it in there very beautifully. It certainly seems to be a different color and consistency than ice cream I've seen before, but maybe that's just because it's coming straight out of the ice cream machine. We'll just have to see how it tastes. There it goes, fresh out of the machine. My first taste. Well, it tastes like frozen yogurt, to be honest. If I would have tried this, I would have thought this was some kind of new health snack. I never would have guessed that this came out of a camel. It's a nice balance, a little bit of sourness, but with some sweet in there too. After all, there's plenty of sugar and cream. If you want to get a scoop to go, they have a variety of flavors here available. This takes me back to one of my first jobs. Before I was a TV host, I worked at an ice cream store. And we had vanilla and chocolate, but we certainly never had camel's milk ice cream or horse milk ice cream. Something else interesting here are these different kinds of sherbets that are made from real, fresh, natural fruit. One that a lot of people might not know is sea buckthorn. You see that orange one right there? That's a kind of berry that grows commonly in Central Asia, but I've never seen it made into an ice cream before. Sure, crafting this art out of sugar may not be Kazakh per se, but if you throw a domra on it, why not? There it is, the national instrument of the Kazakh people, with string and an owl feather on the top. It may not be playable, but it's certainly edible. In the same store where you can get your frozen fermented horse milk to go, you can find a variety of other local treats. Take a look at this, for example. It's called chak chak, a delicacy that's shared with your Tatar neighbors to the west. This is made out of fried little pieces of dough, raisins, and dried apricots, all stuck together with a bunch of honey and sugar. Around the corner, I saw another Kazakh specialty. Kazakhs are crazy about dairy. And this is a kind of liquid yogurt product called ayran. You can also find this commonly amongst other Turkic people. And one more thing I want to show you isn't quite Kazakh, but it really struck my eye with its creativity. At the end of the aisle here, you can see these beautiful artworks made out of, guess what? Entirely caramelized sugar. Beautiful. Rahmet. Eating meat with your hands is not that unusual, but for the first time beshparmak eater, it can be weird to pick up a big lump of noodles with your fingers. But that's the way it's done here. Now look at this orange noodles. What I'm really curious to see is how much of that vegetable-y, pumpkin-y flavor is in here. Not much, actually. It's funny. The noodles have totally soaked up the oily, meaty flavor, and it kind of just tastes like horse. Thank you. Well, I've seen how the ice cream was made. I've tried the shubat ice cream, and now they've also given me shubat mixed with the Camels ice cream, which is made from the fermented horse milk. Which one is which? I'll have to taste to try out. Oh, right away. I know that this is from the Camels. How do I know? Camels has a very distinctive flavor. It has a certain smokiness because when they ferment this horse milk, they put the milk in these barrels, and on the inside of the barrels, they rub ashes from this mountain plant called meadowsweet. So when you're tasting this kind of horse milk and you're tasting the ice cream, what you're actually tasting is this ashy, smoky flavor that is distinctive for this Kazakh delicacy. They say that the best way to learn about a culture is through its food. And whether it's through ancient dishes made of meat or brand new ice cream creations, I hope that today, with me, you've discovered a little bit something new about Kazakhstan. I'm Dennis Keene, and thank you for joining me today. Until next time, Sabo, Maka, and goodbye.